today we're going to be talking about a quite simple but complex topic depending on how you look at it. And we're going to talk about offensive structure, but more so in the sense of, and we're going to pull the comment up because it came from a video. Only Oni-chan, he said, I'd like to hear your thoughts on structuring the ideal order of attacks throw baits from one touch to win. So we're going to go over it as a whole, but then we'll explain, like, I guess one touch to win scenario. So what I have I have three categories, right? I have neutral, knockdown, and corner in, corner knockdown, because that's kind of two separate situations, and we're going to explain what you do in general, kind of, or how to kind of, you get what I'm saying. We're going to explain like each scenario, but then we're going to explain each scenario additionally with, okay, let's say it's GG's, like if you're in neutral and you're one touch to win, if you're on knockdown, one touch to win. We're going to keep it fairly simple, right? Yeah, I guess also in the second half too, hopefully I don't misinterpret this, but I'm guessing either asking like how much mental effort do you put, like how much do you commit to the route, and at what point do you say fuck it and you try another means to win? So we're gonna switch to a Shoto because that just makes the most sense. They're kind of like the general base of characters. They're like, I think if you could play one Shoto, you could play them all. DP characters, whatever, crouching medium DPs fits the category for a Shoto, right? But we're gonna start off in neutral. So neutral is just the game we're playing to get advantage. I don't really want to spend too much time on this, but for the most part you're just walking in and out of range. So first things first, with knowing what to do in general, whether it's clutch or not, right? You got to think everything you do, your opponent responds, even if they don't, right? So if I hit my opponent 5 times with this and they don't respond, I might go out and do that to see. But for the most part, you're kind of gauging what your opponent does. Let's say I do this, right? I do donkey kick, then I throw this out. So I'm mixing up the two, right? So let's say he tries a neutral jump as a response, right? That's something to note, right? But the thing is, you want to kind of wisely note certain shit, because I don't think you want to overthink and have too much in your mental stack, but you want to have what I call your test out moves or your feel. Like everybody has kind of their favorite buttons to press to get a feel. I like to do this button because it kind of keeps you in the perfect range to whiff punish. Cammy's does too, surprisingly. If you're at max range with this, so like you can hit that, but you're barely out of range, which means they're gonna whiff their low, right? So if I'm out of range, or if I'm max range for this move, that means anything they press in this area is an easy whiff punish. You're max range, right? Because watch, I'm a microsep Marissa, right? Like inch up, you see, barely out of the range. Let's actually pick another crouching medium character to demonstrate this, because I feel like Marissa is just yeah, that's all that really is. So off round start, I don't like to do anything too irrational unless I'm autopiloting, right? But I like to walk in and out and see how they respond to me at every range, right? Sometimes off rip, it depends on how I'm feeling, and it doesn't matter. I can't tell you, you got to develop your own method to test and shit. I can't tell you what to do, but personally I might go back, if it's a character or a fireball, I'll go back and kind of see at what point do you like to throw fireballs, or I'll walk back and see if you're going to try to jump. Like, what type of Shoto player are you? Because some Shoto players rely heavily on the old school fundamental style. I'm throwing fireballs. They really have a fireball game. Others, even if they have one, they just choose to not play that way, and that's fine as well. You know, see what could trigger them to do certain things. Like, how do you respond to me throwing a couple fireballs, right? I might even throw in a fireball trap to kind of see if you ever jump at any point, right? If not, okay, cool, noted, you're not a jumper, right? That's another thing. I feel like you gotta, like, if you only jump maybe one time in like a round, then honestly I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna care unless it's like last minute and like it's like one touch or some shit and it's crucial. I don't really give a shit. I'm going to probably let you get the jump ins unless it gets obnoxious and you feel like, oh shit, I could just jump in and get in for free. Then, you know, you got to put a stop to it. But you want to kind of typically, like I said, you see how they respond out in this range, right? Like if I'm playing against a Marissa player, which you just swapped off for, I'll stand in the like damn near the perfect range for her to hit a light Superman punch to see if they throw it, right? To see if that's a tool that they rely heavily on in neutral. So then I'm like, all right, cool, noted, right? And you don't always have to punish immediately. I think you have to get used to the process of saving reads, right? It's almost like you're doing a bad habit on purpose, but not really. It's like I'm choosing to ignore it until it's important for me to win. Same thing with Shimmy. Like, I let you throw tech me every time and you guess right. Naturally, unless you're just like thinking 20 steps ahead, a lot of people, you know, just how to, I feel like it's kind of how the brain is wired. They're gonna be like, well shit, I ain't been hit for it yet. It's like some people have to touch the hot ass stove to realize, damn, shit is hot. I have 8-degree burns in my hand. I'm going to lose my hand. Had to be an amputee. You see what I'm saying? But some people, they feel that warmth, they gonna jump. And that's another thing too. While you're gathering this information for responses, especially in the neutral, you want to see how quickly do they respond. I say give it 2 times. Like if I go in for, all right, let's say like even with overhead, if I dry rush or on if I dry rush overhead and I notice that, and this is a very raw, dumb example because typically nobody's gonna, I mean, it depends. If you're mental stack, yeah. If I drive in and overhead, right? Let's say there's 2 interactions, I do it twice, right? Me personally, I'm gonna be like, all right, shit. Let's say they block your overhead twice. I say 2 times is the max, right? If they don't show, if they adjust after like the first time, let's say, all right, boom, I run and I hit him with an overhead, first interaction of the game, right? Get him on knockdown, cool. Let's say second round or second situation I get in, similar, right? Let's say I go for the overhead and he blocks high. Some people are the opposite. They'll get hit twice, right? And then they'll switch it up. If they don't switch it up after getting hit twice, then like you hit them twice and then you try to switch it up yourself, like let me change it the third time, because there's no way this motherfucker got hit by this slow ass overhead twice and he gets hit a third time. Some people don't learn. So you got to gauge how quick your opponent adjusts through small things. Now you don't have to do something as extreme as an overhead, but do hit your opponent with some shit and then see how quick. Like it could be something as simple as this. All right, like I was just throwing this out at somebody and they just kept getting hit and I wanted to see if they would adjust and they never did. How stubborn is your opponent, right? I think a lot of knowing what to do in a clutch in-game situation comes down to how stubborn your opponent is, or how, I guess, aware they are, the amount of awareness your opponent has. That's why you have to be aware of the habits that you're showing your opponent. Like, let's say, even with the jump in shit, right? It sounds dumb, like I said, I don't recommend it, but let's say I get jumped in 20 times, right? Not like hit, but I just get jumped in on and I'm letting you do it, right? Or I'm giving you some sort of comfortability. Let's say I only anti-air like 1 time, right? That means last minute of the match, you might try to jump out of desperation because you know that's the only consistent way I've been able to get in and get pressure on this guy. And then what does Ryu do as a result, right? With crucial moment in the match, boom, GG's, right? You see what I'm saying? You have to be able to hold on to read, but just know that everything you do elicits a response, even if that's doing nothing. And sometimes some people, they don't respond, and even like then you can say, well, Zyre, what if they're just randomly poking in and doing this, right? That's not, they're not thinking at all. They're not thinking. However, why are they drawing? Because you're in that range. Unless they're just like psychotic and then they're like this far still doing this shit, okay, all right, you got me there. But for the most part, right, what's making them preemptively poke is you getting in the range, right? Are you in their range to poke? Some people won't poke you until they know it's gonna hit. I'm more preemptive. I'll like cover the like area space so that if you hit a button, I'm good. Fucked up part about this is though, you could accidentally whiff punish or whiff punish a person if you're locked in, right? So that's why it's kind of a iffy situation, right? And like we were saying in the FLYZY's video, right, I'm in this range and I notice you're not budging, or you're like, you only budge, or I'm like damn near right here, or you're just letting me kind of inch up slowly and you're not really moving, just something like that. Or I'm just dashing and grab you, right? Simple as that. But yeah, you basically play that game until you get a hit, you know, just test your opponent out, see how they respond. Okay, cool, right? And in the clutch, that's when you're putting your data to use in general. Now let's talk about, let's say, knockdown, right? Now a knockdown, and knockdown in the corner especially, but knockdown in general, like I said, it's just a matter of paying attention, right? Go for a high, a low, or overhead. It's all a matter of seeing how they respond. So let's say, for example, I go for a overhead and the opponent just gets counter hit. They don't even get hit, they get counter hit. That means they were mashing, so you can keep that in mind. Okay, so when I drive rush, they'll probably mash to try to check me. Like, you know, this, like if you play somebody that is always jabbing you out of your shit, one, your Oki's probably being mistimed, but two, that's why, right? But a lot of people will just sit there and get tilted. No, okay, every time I drive rush, he likes to mash, so maybe I'll delay button, right? Or I'll just drive rush and stop in front of him and see what he does, especially if he's drawing out a crazy button. If he's like jabbing or something, I would just do that, right? But on knockdown especially, right, you're in these situations, it's also good as well, right, to do that, right? For example, like another thing, if you notice on knockdown or just in general, when you're point blank, your opponent's walking back, that's when you do strings like that, because this will catch them on their walk back, right? Now if you're really feeling yourself right, you could do that as well, but the problem is it probably won't work because it's too slow. The opponent will probably like twitch react to it on accident, or you'll get jabbed out of it. And like I said, that also depends on the passiveness of your opponent. If your opponent is overly passive and just letting you do everything, fuck it. Like there was an opponent that was just letting me heavy punch him over and over, and I just kept going. I put a gap in between, kept going, gap in between, jab, kept going, and he just was like, fuck it, right? Because that kind of sounds like a mindless strategy of keep doing it until they stop you. But literally, if they're not showing any signs of like, hey, or any adjustments, you keep doing them until they respond to whatever you're doing. And then you're like, okay, cool. So now I know that after probably approximately this amount of time, or when he's at this dry gaze, I can get a response out of him by doing this at this point, right? And you got to keep in mind, you got to really pay attention to resources too, because sometimes it's not necessarily the buttons you're pressing, but it's just where they're at. Like if the Ken, let's say the Ken is at like 2 dry gauge, right? That might be where he plays a little less passive and just start blitzing me, and that's cool too. So I'm gonna sit here and wait. A lot of people, I think, try to play the game in a sense where they want to run their game plan, but your game plan, you should have a general game plan that works, but you also, because I think you have to have a nice blend of both, right? I think that you can't have a game plan that's solely dependent upon reading your opponent, because your opponent's a human like you and you're not psychic. But right, you should also be able to have a game plan that works in general, that's a winning game plan in general, but read should be incorporated in it. But it all starts as simple as seeing how they respond to that. Now, if they don't walk back at that point, now you have their respect, so you could literally just grab when you see that they stop walking back, or when you've done this 20 times in a row. At this point, they're just holding block because they know, well, shit, I can't walk back, I'm gonna get hit. So at the point in which you see that they block this, right, bro, right, when you're at this range, walking in there and out, jab, bro. Now that's not real, by the way. I'll let y'all know. It's only real if you dry rush behind it, so technically they could delay jab or just mash it, which is cool too, but at least then that's you collecting even more data, right? Like if they're just mashing, you could literally, hold on, man, come on, block. You see how he gets hit immediately, right? Now it's a little different with dry rush. It's after the third hit because the first one is so plus. See that? He gets hit, right? So he gets hit immediately. That means he's mashing. Now, what does it mean if he doesn't? So let's have him delay his crouching medium by what's the frame startup for Kens? 4 frames. Let's have him delay it by 4 frames. Yeah, see? Then I would delay my own button in turn, right? Or I would like that. That's when I will incorporate that, because now I'm putting, look, you don't even have to look at this, y'all. I'm pressing this shit immediately. You don't even have to delay button anything, right? Now on the flip side of that though, what does this lose to? Mashing. You see how it works? So off of that little interaction, off of that jab, now you're like, well, damn, I can't do this, I can't do that. All right, that gives you a base on what your opponent is going to do, so it gives you more confidence to execute, especially when they're in a situation where they have less health. Same concept applies off of dry rush, right? Dry rush block. What the hell? So same thing, right? Let's have Akuma normal draw, right? And let's delay, because what frames are draws? Like 5. Let's have him delay it by 5. See? Okay, cool. So what beats that, right? Like I said, delay button straight into a heavy, right? Exact same concept. Like literally bar for bar, word for word. Or a simple shimmy. Well, no, you can't even. Yeah, you can't shimmy that actually. Maybe if you like do that to shimmy it, but even then, it depends. Depending on how you've been drawing them all game. If you're like a person where you draw off the first dry rush, cool. Or if you add a tick draw, a jab in between to kind of mix it up. This is all about mixing up to confuse the opponent and overloading the mental stack, because that's the ultimate goal. Overloading the mental stack. They can't look for everything, and then you do what they're probably not looking for. Right? If you present 20 different options on the ground and you go for a jump in, you're probably going to get that shit. Every option can be beat by something, or every option or every 2 options can be beat by one thing. But the problem is there's another thing that counters that, or another option that completely overrides that as a whole. So everything can be beat by something. It's just a vicious cycle of rock, paper, scissors over and over. And that's all really this game is when you break it down. Especially in interactions, dry rush interactions, or close quarters. Out here is still kind of the same thing, but it's a little more random. But I guess you could argue it's still a form of rock, paper, scissors, because you're playing a poke, you know, the poke game, the poke throw, similar shit, right? But yeah, I think that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this helped and it answered your question on the Oni-chan. I hope it did, but you know, if not, I have another video by a dude named IAmHermit, and I kind of got this. I ain't gonna say I got it from him, but he definitely helped me kind of elaborate or kind of explain it better within this video. Anywho, I'm gonna link him down in I'll probably put him in the comment, or I'll put him first link in the description so y'all can check his video out, because I think that video is extremely helpful too, and I think if you watch that, you'll probably be just as informed, but of course after you watch mine, you feel me? But it's only 5 minutes, all right? But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Like I said, keep coming with the video ideas. As you saw, if you come up with ideas, I'll put your comment in the video. Or not, you could just say fuck me, and then that's cool too. Also, we're gonna probably slow up on the uploads. Y'all might be getting weeks where I only do 1 upload, 2 max, 1 to 2. I'm only doing 1 to 2 uploads a week. I'm striving for 2, but sometimes we might only get away with 1. I'm doing my best with that, because I have a lot of stuff going on, and you know, getting ready to go back to school. Actually, I go back today. So, but it's like late as hell. It's like 11:26, but I got work too, and then I got to go to the school after work. So yeah, thank y'all so much for your continuous support, and hopefully I get better, man. I'm tired of being ass. I know y'all, some of y'all are like, you're not. No, I want to be like actually good at the game, like super good at the game. I'm decent, but I want to be like nice. So hopefully we climb the rank soon. You know, I'm working on it. I'm at like the point where I'm just trying to, where it's the little things that matter in order for me to kind of progress, at least with Ryu, because there's no gimmick here. But I'm getting fucking personal. All right, have a great day, y'all.